At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hey, it's me, Gus the Gopher for Atmos Energy. I dig all around the yard. Occasionally, I bump into a utility line and get a headache. But if you hit one with your shovel, backhoe, or ditch digger, you could cause a gas leak, disrupt service, or worse. So call 811 at least 3 business days before you or someone else digs in your yard to have those underground utility-owned lines marked. It's free and it's the law. You dig what I'm saying? For more on safe digging, visit atmosenergy.com/811.
Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing and me and Java Chapman and all the folks here at MPB. We welcome you joining us on this, I guess, the last Friday of this year, or this month. Something like that.
We're not through with 2025 just yet. Yeah, the last Friday in May.
I'll be glad when 2025 is over.
Man, this year it's only May and it feels like it could be the end of the year.
That's okay. That's okay. Nice thing about gardening is sort of get immersed in it. It's a one day at a time type of thing, and a little accomplishment. It's like making up your bed, makes you feel like you got a grip for the rest of the day. Pulling weeds, like one of our callers mentioned last week, having a rage garden.
The rage garden,
I love
that's
that
the new
idea.
thing.
Yeah, you got stuff on your mind, go pull some weeds. Anyway, we're going to be talking about gardening, and we've got the lines open. If you want to give us a call, it's toll-free 1-877-MPB-RING. I got a few things to talk about. I actually have some stuff to brag about, Java.
What you got, man?
Man, we got to talk, we reveal a little at a time.
Okay, all
But
right.
I did have some success, some failures and successes this year.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But before we even get started, though, let's get a call from far afield, about as south as you can go without being in Mississippi. Kevin's calling from Charleston, South Carolina.
Hold on, wait, we almost...
there he is.
Okay, now we're good.
Kevin, what's going on in South Carolina?
Oh, hey there. So I just had a quick question. I do a lot of woodworking, so I always have a lot of sawdust laying around. Is there any application to use it with gardening in any way that's useful?
Oh, yeah. If it's really fine sawdust, you would probably want to mix it with other stuff, with some compost or some leaves and things like that, because it turns like in a wet cornmeal. It'll keep water from getting through. If you have a light rain, fine sawdust will soak up the water before it has a chance to get down to the soil. So if you want to mix it in with compost, that's perfectly fine. If it's coarser stuff, shavings and things,
Sure.
I wouldn't mix those directly into the dirt, because as fresh organic matter like wood decomposes, it uses nitrogen for the bacteria that do it, and it pulls it away from your plant. So rather than put it directly in the garden while it's fresh, I go ahead and use it as a mulch on top of the ground. Not too thick, just enough to cover the ground and maybe a little extra to allow for settling. But main thing is you want to use it on the surface. If it's really fine, go ahead and mix it with some leaves or some other compost to sort of spread it out a little bit.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
One more question for you. My pepper plants are starting to produce a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What's the right way to pick them so as to not damage the plant or anything like that, like taking off the stem or...
Yeah. Well, if you get the best way is to have just some snippers. I keep a little pair of rusty old scissors in my garden and just snip it with a little piece of the stem. The pedestal or whatever holds the fruit onto the plant. But you're right. If you just pull it off, sometimes you'll break off the top of the plant. But, if you could pinch it off easily, twist it off without hurting the plant. Otherwise, just keep your pair of scissors or clippers or something like that out handy.
Perfect. All right. Hey, thanks.
You bet. Thanks for calling. But hey, you still there,
Hey, yeah.
Kevin? Have you ever seen the oldest crepe myrtle in North America, which is out at Middleton Place?
I probably saw it without knowing it then, because I've definitely been out to Middleton Place. Gorgeous gardens.
Yeah, Middleton Place was burned down during the Revolutionary War. It's just been, I don't know how many times it's burned down, but it's where Andre Michaud, who was a French botanist, he introduced crepe myrtles, camellias, and mimosa to North America at Middleton. The oldest crepe myrtle in North America is right there, 1783, I think.
Well, and what's really interesting about this conversation, you just gave me a fact that I'm going to verify. But so I live on the base at Joint Base Charleston, and one of the roads that goes to 526 is called Michaud Parkway. I wonder if there's a connection there.
Oh yeah. Andre Michaud, he was a French botanist, but like I say, in the original crepe, I think the camellia may still be there, but it was on its last legs last time I saw it. But the oldest crepe myrtle in North America, right there at Middleton Place.
I'll be darned. Well, hey, thanks for the Snapple fact.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Kevin. Thanks. Okay, Java, help me out here. Tell this old boomer, what's the Snapple fact?
No,
I don't.
You don't?
I'm a boomer.
No, this is the drink Snapple.
Yeah.
And under the bottle caps, they would always have like little random facts.
I did not know that.
So that's where it came. Just I guess
a Snapple fact
in pop culture. Yeah, just a Snapple fact.
Okay. see, I'm of the era where you got a believe it or not, an RC Cola. And it's not because of something, but because it was a bigger. It had more to drink, more sugar than the Coca-Colas. But we also got this Orange Crush, and we would take an ice pick, which is another ancient tool, and we would punch a hole in the top of it rather than take the top off, so we could eke it out a little at a time. Now that's old school here.
Now, just a little, and you'd say a boomer, man. Snapple was founded in 1972, and then they had.
I was on an aircraft carrier in 1972.
All right. You missed a few things, but you were doing a good job.
Thank you, sir. I got a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. Would like to let folks know it is a live program, and it's toll free. We give the numbers over and over, but if you're not watching on live stream, if you haven't heard about this. I have to shave every Friday morning just because of y'all. I have to wash my face and comb my hair and all that stuff because you can watch this live, or you could watch it anytime later if you go to YouTube and in the search box do Gestalt Gardener or MPB, Mississippi Public Broadcasting. And you can look at this anytime and see some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about, including some of the pictures that I'm going to be showing.
Now, before we go any further, I do want to thank Atmos Energy for...
Before we get there, I am planting I got me a new beanstalk, a big beanstalk. It's a teepee made of crepe myrtle branches. It's like 8 feet tall. It's a tripod, and I'm planting beans around it, and I think I need to sturdy this up with some rebar. So I was going to start pounding some rebar in the ground, and I remembered I went and called 811.
Yeah, you better call 811, man.
And they sent somebody out, and they put a little orange marker to show me where my gas line was.
Yeah, because you don't want to be that person that did not call because, hey, I don't know, who needs to call? No, you need to call if you're going to dig 811 before you put that shovel in the ground. And we want to thank Atmos Energy for supporting this program and supporting the message of dial 811. They got a nice little Gus the Gopher, and if you watch the live stream, you'll see that or see him digging around, trying to make sure that you don't hit those utility lines. Yeah,
or if you got a hammer in your hand and a long piece of rebar, you're about to pound it in down near the street. It occurred to me, I know there's a water line around here someplace.
Yeah, the water line should be the least of your troubles.
But there's a
if
gas
it's next
line
to the gas line.
Yeah, well, anyway, I called them, and they sent somebody out. It was the next day, so if you want to do this, call ahead. If you're really impatient.
They suggest 3 days. Yeah. But also, I got another shout-out, man, and these are people that you have come across because Felder knows everybody. I want to shout out New Life Farm out in Canton.
They caught me with a mouthful of coffee, but they are great folks. I see them at the farmers market in Jackson.
Yeah, New Life Farm in Canton. I just was introduced to them, but they are big supporters and fans of the show. Some people know in a different light I DJ, so I got out there under the guise of
you the man on the radio
of playing music. But then they were like, Java from MPB, and it was like, yes, and it's like, oh my goodness, we love the show, and they love the show so much they were complimenting you on your cheesy tune choice from last week's show.
Oh boy, that was a weird one.
So they were in tune. I had to shout out Kenneth and Jacqueline out there at New Life Farms.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing them at the farmers market too. And they not only beautiful produce, they're beautiful people.
Yes, they are, and both vets. So y'all have that in common.
Okay, I did not know that. Not know that. Well, we've got another call, and when we come back from that, I want to show my success story from this past week.
All
sort
right.
of success. Let's go to Columbus and talk with Josephine. Good morning, lady. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are y'all doing?
So far, so good.
Oh, good. Well, I had a question about soil testing.
Mm-hmm.
I live on the Air Force Base in Columbus. Just moved here for my husband's training, and I got right to work tilling a garden. And then I've heard a few stories from other people who've lived on different military bases of chemicals and kind of nightmares with soil. And so I started thinking, well, I probably need to get my soil tested to make sure that my veggies are safe for me and my family to eat, but I'm not exactly sure what to test for.
Yeah. First of all, where'd you move from? Where y'all from?
Colorado.
Oh, boy. I'm going to be in Colorado in 2 weeks. Going to go visit my cousin up in Ouray.
Oh, cool. Oh, my gosh, Ouray's so nice.
Yep, and
You're gonna love that.
I'm going to I've been there before. I'm going to the Denver Botanic Garden also. But anyway, to get back to your welcome to a completely different climate, completely different culture. Just relax.
Totally.
And you'll find out real quick. We don't move fast here because we're slow. We're moving slow because it's humid. Just take your time.
It's very humid.
Yep. Welcome to Mississippi time. But anyway, good question. As far as having your soil test, first of all, I'm a veteran. I was on several Navy bases, and there are some concerns from toxic materials that were put down decades ago. It's not likely to be a problem at the Columbus Air Force Base because they don't store a lot of stuff. It's not as big a deal. But second of all, if you're having it tested for contaminants, they have to know which ones to look for. And so it can be complicated. But third of all, which really should be first of all, these materials are typically not absorbed by plant roots and moved into the parts that you eat. So I really, if you'll dig up the dirt you've got and maybe add some organic matter to it. Organic matter fluffs up the soil. It helps for drainage during rainy weather, but also absorbs and neutralizes any kind of toxins that are in the soil. So, it's a win-win-win thing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I did actually add cotton burr compost, which is very new to me.
Excellent.
Is that something you would recommend?
Yeah, compost is compost. It does not matter whether it comes what it's made of. By the time it breaks down, it's all essentially the same stuff. And did you use a tiller or did you fluff it up by hand or what?
I used a tiller.
How big is your garden?
It's probably I have 3 plots actually, and each are about 6 by 4.
Oh, that's that's my kind of garden. I thought you were talking about a field with corn. Yeah, if you'll take even though you use a tiller, if you'll take a shovel next time you dig it, put it when it's moist. A couple of days after rain, like right now. If you go in and dig down a solid shovel and turn it over upside down, and then spread your stuff on top and till it in. If you'll dig it first, a tiller only goes down so far.
Yeah.
And typically it's just shallow enough to where plants suffer in the summer because they can't get deep roots. So next time you do it, dig it a little bit deeper, add a little bit more of the cotton burr or any kind of compost. And I would not worry about the potential toxins at all. I know exactly what you're concerned about, and I wouldn't be.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. And I'm also wondering about weed control, because the weeds are already just going crazy.
I'm
Do you
laughing
have
with us
suggestions
here.
for that?
Yeah, mulch. If you'll dig the
Okay.
dirt up pretty good, get rid of the weeds that are there, turn them under, let them
Mm-hmm.
decompose. Any kind of mulch you put on the top of the ground, you could put cardboard in between your plants or your rows. You could
Okay.
you use shredded bark. It only takes an inch or so, but if you can completely cover the ground where you can't see
Okay.
the dirt, and maybe add a little bit more because it'll settle a little bit, that's going to be your
Yeah.
best weed control. And if you got perennial weeds, things that come back from roots like Bermuda grass and nutsedge,
Yeah.
the best thing in a garden like that is just keep after it. You will peter it out, work in the mornings when it's not so hot. And there are some herbicides that are safe if you use them right. But you may not have to
Okay.
do that. If you have a trouble
Yeah.
that feel like you need to use a weed killer, there are some that are safe, and if they're
Okay.
used right, they're very effective.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So much good knowledge. I appreciate it.
I got another question for you.
Yeah.
What kind of fertilizer are you using?
That's a good question. I've used Jack's Bloom Booster on the flowers.
Yeah.
I have a flower garden,
Yeah.
but I haven't used anything on the veggies yet. I was thinking about doing fish emulsion.
Well, instead of fish emulsion, switch over to this stuff called cottonseed meal. It has the same nutrients, but it's local. Fish emulsion has to be brought from wherever they catch fish.
Yeah.
Cottonseed meal is a good bit of nitrogen, a little phosphorus, a little potash. It'll keep your garden going. But it only takes like a pound to a pint jar for 100 square feet. I mean, 100 square. It's not much. It's just good dusting. But your vegetables do need use some of that super bloom to get started. And then if you want to use cottonseed meal once a year after that, you're going to see the most incredible, scary-looking earthworms you can imagine, because it's got fertilizer for plants, plus it's got protein for worms.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've been wondering. I haven't seen many worms. So I've been thinking, is the soil messed up or something?
No,
but I actually have so many robins around the garden, so I think the robins are eating them.
Yeah. But I can't get them all. But the worms in a lawn type area, they're real small. They're kind of pink color. You can see through them, but you give them a little food, something to eat, and they get big and beefy.
Yeah, where can I get that cotton seed meal?
It's
like a Lowe's?
No. It'll be at either a local garden centers or anywhere farmer shop. Try Tractor Supply or something like that. If you can't find it locally, Amazon, because it only takes a pint jar to 100 square feet. That ain't much.
Yeah, that's not much. Okay,
No.
well I'll get some of that then.
Okay, well enjoy it for the next couple of months. You're gonna be miserable.
Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Bye-bye. Oh boy, a lot of stuff there, Java. And I want to do a little bragging. I don't know if they can see this, but I grew this.
What is that?
Garlic, homegrown garlic. I mean, matter of fact, it's gonna smell in this studio for quite some time. But I harvested my garlic yesterday, and it's beautiful. I just love it, and it's homegrown. Pretty flowers and all. But when we come back, I also want to talk about my vegetables that I've harvested, because a lot of people are bragging about what they grew. I didn't grow much, but I am proud of it.
There you go.
I'm proud of it. Just like Crystal is, which you get. All it takes is one cucumber.
That's
to
just
make it.
just a little bit means a lot.
Okay, we're going to take a break, folks, and come back with more of the Gestalt Gardener here on Mississippi Public Broadcasting right after this. horticulturist Felder Rushing. I got some pictures I want to show and I'll do a little bragging. But before we do that, let's talk to Avery. He's been holding from Summit. Avery, how are you this morning?
Doing good. Have a question for you. A magnolia tree planted decades ago has grown so tall and spindly that I have some leaves and limbs that are now touching the tin roof of my farmhouse.
Yeah.
So my question is, do I cut those back? Will it harm the tree if I trim the limbs to get the leaves off the roof?
That's a good question. It won't hurt the tree as long as when you prune it, whatever you cut back next to something, excuse me, that's either growing in the direction you want. Cut it back to a branch that's growing away from the house, or go all the way back to the trunk and cut it off without leaving stubs. Don't just cut off a bare stub out there. So if you can cut it back, if you need to take it all the way back to the trunk, just don't leave a stub. Or if you want to take it to a limb that's growing up or in a different direction, prune it immediately past that, and the plant just thinks it's got a shorter stem and it'll keep on growing. But it doesn't hurt the plant. As long as you don't leave stubs, it doesn't hurt the plant.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot, Felder.
All righty. I appreciate your call. And, folks, I want to do a little bragging. I did grow some garlic. I'm just showing this. And garlic is it's one of those spices of life. Either you like it or you don't. But I planted in back in the fall, stuck little cloves in the ground. They grew over the summertime. The wintertime, and they're starting to die down, so I dug them up, and here we go. But I want to throw this out, Java. There's a plant out there people call wild garlic. You see it along roadsides, riversides, old home sites. They have flowers that are about the size of baseballs, kind of a light purpley white color.
Okay.
It is not a garlic.
That's what I was about to say. Is it actually garlic?
No. It looks like a garlic. It grows like a garlic. It tastes like a mild garlic, but it's actually a special type of leek. Leek. It's elephant garlic or wild garlic. It's related to garlic, but it's not a true garlic. Anyway, it's one of my favorite flowering plants this time of year. And you can plant it in the fall. If you want to dig some up in the spring and eat it, you can. But it's also a really good, big, mid to late spring flower for the garden if you want something about waist high.
And one of my favorite jokes from Spaghetti with a chance of meatballs. It's raining with a chance of meatballs. And the guy, he's on a boat, and it's like the vegetables are alive. So he's like, oh, it's a leak in the boat. And then it pans over to like a group of leeks.
Okay, that's a bad gardening joke. I got one similar. Where is it? Here we go. It needed to brighten up my garden, so I planted a bunch of bulbs.
Now, see, that's Felder. That's a Kevin Farrell pun for the day right there.
Well, I happen to bring this little thing in. I got these last week at one of the big box stores because getting to my cabin, I live behind my main house. I live in a little cabin back there, and it's dark and scary because I have a winding path. I've got logs. I've got rocks. And if you don't know where you are, burglar beware. You're going to hurt yourself. But sometimes it's difficult for me. So I got these little low voltage lights that you put out there, and they're solar powered. The only drawback is they have to have sunshine to charge up in the daytime, and my backyard is garden. So every morning I take these out and put them in the front yard. And when I get home, I put them back where I want them, so when I get home late at night. But they were inexpensive. I got like 4 for $15. But as soon as it gets dark, it comes on. Look at that.
Ah, I see. Okay.
It's got a little solar panel on the top, and when it gets dark, it comes on automatically.
Okay.
But anyway, they're not super bright. But you don't have to plug anything in. So you just got to have sunshine in the daytime.
Now, here's a little pro tip. They sell a version of that have batteries as well. So it's always light.
I bet you can't get 4 for $14.
No, that is the trade-off. You can't get 4 for $14.
Well, listen, we got some lines open, and they got a cheesy tune to come back. But before we do that, I want to show a couple of pictures. One is it's going to be picture number 5. For those of you on live stream, going to see this. I want to thank Abram and John C. for being our live stream crew. But picture number 5 is potatoes and tomatoes and peas. I grew potatoes, I grew tomatoes, and this is a purple potted type of English pea.
Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to grow something like okra, there's burgundy okra, you're going to grow something to eat, grow it something that's pretty. But anyway, I wanted to point out on my potatoes, I got little bumps all over them, little bitty bumps. And those are actually lenticels. Potatoes breathe. They got tiny little holes in them where they let air in. It sounds kind of weird. But if the ground stays wet, they can't get enough oxygen, so the little lenticels, those little things, will enlarge. So I got little bumps all over. Perfectly safe. It's not a problem. You just peel them off. But anyway, I grew potatoes, I grew tomatoes, and I grew peas. Have we got a tune we can do with that?
I think we got something ready. You ready for the cheesy tune today?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into that, man.
And by the way, I also grew enough tomatoes to make a sandwich. And there's a lot of debate about white bread versus wheat bread. How much salt and pepper? Do you use mayonnaise or use Miracle Whip? It doesn't really matter as long as it's got a tomato in it that you grew yourself. We're going to take a little bit of a break, do a cheesy tune. It's called Tomatoes and Potatoes and Me Peas. And we'll be back with Norla Gestalt Gardener here on Mississippi Public Broadcasting right after this.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Hey, it's me, Gus the Gopher for Atmos Energy. I dig all around the yard. Occasionally, I bump into a utility line and get a headache. But if you hit one with your shovel, backhoe, or ditch digger, you could cause a gas leak, disrupt service, or worse. So call 811 at least 3 business days before you or someone else digs in your yard to have those underground utility-owned lines marked. It's free and it's the law. You dig what I'm saying? For more on safe digging, visit atmosenergy.com/811.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Folks, welcome back to Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. And Java, before we went to the cheesy tune, we were talking about tomato sandwiches. Are you a tomato sandwich kind of guy?
I'm not. I mean, maybe a fried green tomato here and there, but I really don't care for tomatoes, man.
Well, I did for a long time. They're gushy. They don't look like they're finished somehow. But there are some tomatoes that aren't, there's juicy tomatoes and there's tomatoes that aren't that juicy. But so you don't really have an opinion about mayonnaise versus Miracle Whip on a tomato sandwich.
No, but I know anytime we dive into the mayonnaise question, especially on Deep South Dining, Monday mornings at 9 o'clock, It's crazy.
Yeah, you don't have to get into politics or religion when it comes to gardening. We got opinions. The only difference between mayonnaise and Miracle Whip's got a little corn sugar in it. It's sweeter. That's the only difference.
It is sweeter, but also for the uninitiated, it's not the same.
Oh no, it's not the same. But a lot of tomatoes have some people say I like an acid tomato. I like a sweet, a low acid. All tomatoes have the same amount of acidity. All of them. But some of them have more natural sugar in them, which covers up that acidity. See,
okay.
And matter of fact, I made a tomato sandwich. Let's see if we can pull this picture up of my tomato sandwich. It's not a pretty one, but I grew it myself, and I like brown bread. I don't know why. I just prefer it. And I prefer mayonnaise, but I would go with Miracle Whip because the tomato I grew had that acid bite to it. And the Miracle Whip put just a little bit of sweetness in it to overcome it.
Okay, so everything has its place.
That's the reason. That's the reason. Salt and pepper. There's all sorts of other things you can add. You can put basil leaves on it. You can put bacon if you want to. But the bottom line is, there's nothing quite like a warm tomato right off the vine, still got sun warmth in it, and slice it, and then when you eat the sandwich, you have to put your face over the sink because the juice will run down your elbows. Now, Java.
I think you enjoyed yourself because you grew that tomato.
I did. It wasn't. As a matter of fact, it had a rotten spot on one side, and I cut it out. But we are seeing a lot of trouble right now with insects and diseases picking up. A lot of people are having trouble with their plants that are wilting for too much rain.
Now, speaking of insects, thank you to everybody who's checking in on the YouTube. Our usual suspects, Margie, Kendall, Pamela, Timothy, Jenny, Cece, and Cece commented, "The bugs are eating my turnip greens. Help."
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because there's not first of all, the turnip greens, they can start petering out soon. It's getting hot. They're going to peter out. But we don't have many insecticides you can spray safely on leafy greens because leafy greens absorb a lot of the insecticide instead of you can't just wash it off. So what I would recommend would be a pyrethrin type insecticide or spinosad. These are natural insecticides. They're safe and they're effective, but you got to spray the underside of the leaves to get it to them, which means a sprayer and either pyrethrin or I don't know whether spinosad or spinosad, but they're natural and they're safe, and so that's what I would do. And speaking of insects, didn't you post something on Mississippi Gardening recently?
I did. I posted something on Mississippi Gardening Facebook page. Abram and John C. I just sent that picture to the folder. If you can pull it out, it's a picture of either leaf-footed bugs or milkweed assassin bugs.
When they're young, these young ones, they look alike. They're red with black, little red things with black leaves. Ooh, that's creepy looking on the picture.
Yeah, no, and they were gathered on this is Crystal's cucumber plants.
Oh no, we can't have that on Crystal's plants. Again, little orangish red critters with long black legs. They could be assassin bugs, which eat other bugs.
Yes,
but in this case, it's a one called a leaf-footed bug. If you look on their back legs, on the one on the lower left-hand corner, the bottom part of their the tibia or whatever it is, flares out, looks like a leaf.
Okay.
They grow up into things that are half as big as the end of your little finger, and they are voracious. They're hard to control. Mm-hmm. And I saw your post on Mississippi Gardening thing.
I had to because once we saw them one afternoon, and I looked it up, and immediately the Google machine said milkweed assassin bugs, and we were like, "Oh, they're friendly."
It looks like that. It does look like
it. But then Crystal, in her infinite wisdom, did a little more research, and she said, "No, those are leaf-footed, and they're harmful."
Well, this is a case where live on Mississippi Public Broadcasting is better than artificial intelligence.
There you go.
There you go. But anyway, I'd recommend she mix up a little bit of dishwashing detergent, just a little bit, and spray it on them. Mm-hmm. It's not enough to hurt your plants, but it covers up their anyway. That's the easiest way to get rid of. Once they get big and hard. I have a pair of scissors. The ones that I use to harvest my peppers and tomatoes. I just snip them because there's not much that'll kill a big one. It's a tough one. Anyway, I got other stuff to talk about, but we've had a guy named Joe hanging over from Jackson. Good morning, Joe. Thank you for holding.
Hey, Felder. Good morning.
Howdy.
You've talked about using worms before, and what is the best worm? I've got azaleas across the front yard, and then azaleas just bushes, in the backyard, and all. Is there a best worm to just buy and throw out in the yard and let them have at it?
Not really. If you're going to do that, go with what they call night crawlers. Those big night crawler things. The red wigglers that they sell for fish bait, they don't survive in our kind of soil. They're tropical. They won't make it through the wintertime. They don't like hot, dry summer. But just plain old earthworms. If you'll put a little cottonseed meal and some there's azalea leaves under there. If you'll put out a little bit of cottonseed meal, just a dusting, and I don't sell this stuff. I use it because it has a little fertilizer for your plants, but it also has protein, and you'll find the biggest, beefiest worms you can imagine, 10 inches long. They're already out there. They're just hungry, and they need protein. So do that, and I think you'll have. And if you're not sure, go out in the woods or something and dig around and get you a can of native worms, or the ones we call natives, and put them out there. But none of the store-bought ones. They're like cotton candy. They've been grown, force-fed, and just nah. Feed the ones you got. You got them out there.
Where can you get cottonseed meal? I mean, you and I are both Delta boys, and I used to be able to go out to the gin and
No. That's That's gin motes. That's gin trash. Cottonseed meal is made from ground up cottonseed. It feels like greasy cornmeal. It's made from the cotton seed, and they use it in peanut butter. They use it as a filler. It's a great natural oil type product, and you get it in small bags. I think 5-pound bags or something. You can get it anywhere there's a co-op or maybe Tractor Supply. You can get it at Amazon, but cottonseed meal is a fertilizer. You're using cotton trash or gin trash, which is a compost.
That's what my father used to do. So,
yeah.
But anyway, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right.
And worms won't hurt the plant.
No,
worms are okay.
Worms are the best thing. They come up at night. They eat fallen leaves. They dig it down deep, and their little tunnels are full of worm. They call it vermicompost. It's worm poop is what it is. Rich fertilizer, and also air and water and roots can get down deeper because of them. Worms are your friend.
All right, good deal. Thank you, Felder. Always enjoy it.
All right, appreciate it. Does orange mean I can jump on this next caller?
If you're talking about Michael from Hattiesburg,
good to go. Hey, Michael, good morning.
Good morning. There was one other thing about your tomato sandwich you didn't address.
Uh-oh.
You cut your tomatoes vertically or horizontally?
In all of my years, and I've been around, I've never thought about that. Is there a difference in how they slice?
I think cutting it vertically, you can cut out that little stem part, and you got the rest of the tomatoes good.
There you go.
That's the way I go.
Well, I've got just enough tomatoes coming in right now where I'll give that a try.
All right.
So no. So you think vertically? This is the thesis. We're theorizing here. The hypothesis is that cutting it vertically, you get more mater.
Correct. Because you cut it right down the middle, and you just cut where the stem was. You just cut that little piece out, and you got the rest of the tomato. When you cut it vertically, then you've got that tomato stem in the middle. What do you do with that?
Michael, that's the reason we call Mississippi Public Broadcasting Think Radio.
There you go.
Appreciate it, man. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be in Hattiesburg tomorrow. There's the Daily Society, Hemocalis Society.
Oh, that's right.
It's going to be down at the train station. It's open to the public, I think, at noon or so. But anyway, I'm going to be there.
Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Okay, Michael. Thanks for calling.
Safe travels. Enjoy your show.
You bet. Java, this is a strange program we got going here.
You got any other upcoming dates? You just threw that Hattiesburg out just like it slipped your mind or something.
Well, it did, and I'm giving a talk at the end of next week to a multi-state daily Hemocalis Society meeting, and I thought it'd be good to go down and get some pictures of some.
Yeah.
because the only one I grow is that little orange daylily. You know which one I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
And it's been growing around for thousands of years. And daylily people don't like it because it can't be hybridized. It's a mule. It doesn't set seed. But it grows in cemeteries. And when you're tired of looking at it, you can eat it. All parts of daylily are edible. But anyway, before we go to the next call, let me throw up another picture. Picture number 3 is something I saw at the Ridgeland exit off of Interstate 55. As soon as you get off the interstate, just north of Natchez Trace, in Ridgeland, they've got a wildflower meadow.
That is true, and it is beautiful.
It is, and I took a picture of this, and there's a lot of different kind of wildflowers. But the pictures, by the way, it had a sign that said, "Don't take." Don't pick flowers.
Felder.
I figured that, if I end up in the Madison County Jail for picking wildflowers, I'll take it.
Okay.
But anyway, in there, I took pictures of just plants that are related to each other and in the same family as sunflowers. I got black-eyed Susan. I've got cone flower. I've got Gaillardia, zinnias, 2 kinds of coreopsis, a tiny little white aster, and cosmos. All of those are related, same family as sunflowers. And all of them were planted back in the fall, and they come up in the spring and they bloom. So anyway, just want to let you know that there is a really nice wildflower display. It's like an acre with passing all through it and sculptures and stuff immediately off the interstate at the Ridgeland exit on the Ridgeland side of the interstate.
Now, I will say this. I know before they put that wildflower, I guess you could almost call it a display.
It's a meadow.
A meadow. If they put it out there, do you think they call 811? I don't, because you would just throw the seeds out there, right?
Yeah, but they dug it up a little bit first. Maybe
okay. Yeah. So if we want to thank again Atmos Energy for supporting the program, because they remind us to dial 811 before we dig, even if you're doing the wildflower meadow. You dial 811 so you don't hit any utility line. So again, thank you to Atmos Energy for supporting today's show.
Well, I was putting up a teepee to grow a special kind of ornamental bean on, and I was going to pound some rebar into the ground to stir it up. And I remember hearing on MPB to call 811, and I did, and they came out and said, "Here's where the line is." And oddly enough, it was on the other side of the yard from where I was digging.
Well, you didn't know.
Well, now I do. I got a big orange stripe on the front of my curb.
And I think for other people who may not know, it is an absolutely free thing. They'll come out, do it. And
they came right out. So anyway, let's. We got a fella calling from on the road named Ron. Ron, what's going on?
Hey, Felder. I just wanted to weigh in on the cottonseed meal and where to get it. So we used to buy it online and would get a 5-pound bag for about $30.
Ooh, that's too much.
It's way too much. But if anybody has the old Feed and Seed or the local farmers cooperative,
the co-op,
in a 50-pound bag, you can get 2 50-pound bags for the same price as a 5-pound bag online.
Yeah, 50 pounds will do about an acre.
It'll do it.
It only takes about a pound to 100 square feet. But anyway,
we have some happy worms.
Yeah. So did you grow worms, or you just use cottonseed meal?
There we go. I just wanted to let people know they can find it local and find it cheaper.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Okay, you betcha. Bye-bye.
I think, I'm pretty sure I did say that, but, locally is better because it's where farmers shop. They use it as a cattle feed supplement. It's got protein. Cows don't eat just hay. They have to have protein, and they use cottonseed meal. Well, worms are like underground cows. They come up at night, they eat leaves and grass clippings and stuff, but they need it's sort of job is like hummingbirds. A lot of people put hummingbird feeders out there, and they attract hummingbirds. Hummingbirds can't live on just sugar. They that's for energy. They also need protein, and what they get, hummingbirds eat little spiders, they eat little aphids, they eat little bugs, but they eat insects for protein. Ants, they'll eat ants. So a lot of people say, well, I don't want those things in my yard. Well, it's like putting your kids, Java, to bed with nothing but a spoonful of sugar. They ain't going down for the night.
I would say it's not going to work.
No. So anyway, we got some lines open, folks. If you want to give us a call, it's toll free 1-877-MPB-ring. Would like to mention something I found on the Mississippi Gardening Facebook. Somebody said that they had zucchini squash. They were making squash without being pollinated. And I'm thinking, that ain't possible.
That's not how it goes.
No,
yeah.
They got separate male and female plants on the, separate male and female flowers on the same plant. If you don't have them both at the same time and bees or hand pollinate, it ain't going to happen. Well, I got online because this is the way I am. And come to find out, there are some self-pollinating squash that are sold.
Ooh.
You got to buy it every year, though, because they're mules. These seed producers, they mix 2 or 3 different kinds, just like making a mule. You know, you can't just, mules don't have mules. You got to make a new mule every time. But anyway, there's self-pollinating squash. And it's called parthenocarpic. And they've been specially bred. And because they don't need pollination, they don't have seeds. So you want a big old zucchini that doesn't have seeds in it, you need to go and need to buy the ones that say self-pollinating or parthenocarpic. And you can't save seeds because there ain't none.
I think if I were to go to the store, I would say self-pollinating because I can't say cupping or what type of
I can't either. I'm looking at the word right here. I wrote it down so I remember how to say it. But anyway, they're hybrid mules. You got to buy the seeds every year and keep going. So some folks are having trouble right now in their garden because they're getting brown patches in their grass. They're having leaf spots on their tomatoes. Tomatoes are wilting. Plants are wilting because we've had too much rain. And
that's what I was going to ask about this. I think I saw something this morning. Today or this Saturday is the first Saturday in May that especially central Mississippi won't get any significant rain.
Yeah,
like it's just been a washout.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
No, I visited several garden centers this past week, see what's going on, and they've had they're loaded with plants, but people shop on the weekends, and it rained on Mother's Day Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's kicking them. But anyway, the garden centers have got a lot of good plants. They're not overloaded with it. We got plenty of plants right now, and it's by no means too late to plant. By no means. So anyway, I just want to throw that. And by the way, I saw something that brightened I came home the other night before I had these night lights.
Before you,
I came home. I saw my first lightning bug of the season.
Oh yeah, they've been having at the what's the place by the reservoir?
Oh yeah. Not the natural trace. There's the park thing.
Oh man, they've been on the show about the Lightning Bug Festival and go see the snappy sinks.
Oh, they started doing it this year yet? Because I just saw my first one.
Well, yeah, they had it. Oh man, I have a blank brain right now. What is the name of that place?
You're digging deep. I'm just letting you dig here because I don't know.
Oh man, I'm going to find it out real quick.
Well, anyway, for anybody who's in Mississippi or listening to this, and you're not from Mississippi, when we say lightning bugs, we mean fireflies. Same thing, fireflies and lightning bugs. You're not going to have them if you don't have tall grass because that's where the glowworm larvae live. They have to have weeds and stuff like that. But if you live in a suburb without a whole bunch of weeds and stuff, not going to have it. Lightning bugs or fireflies, they light up. It's called. Wait, you just got it.
Kevin came in, saved the day. The Mississippi Craftsman's Guild.
Oh, yes.
And they have the tours where they go and watch the fireflies at night.
And they back up to the Natchez Trace.
Yes.
And so there's plenty of stuff for that. But anyway, and by the way, there's not a heat. It lights. It's called bioluminescence. Ooh. Hey, let's go up to Canton. Ron just called. What's up, Ron?
Yeah, Felder. Good to talk to you. I heard something that I found very disturbing.
What's that?
I've always heard how good trees are, to put oxygen in there, clean the air and stuff.
Yeah, carbon sumps.
Listening to a program on the BBC, and it was I don't remember the name of the group, but they had a really good thing going where they helped the rainforest.
Yeah.
And they made a statement that when a tree is cut, all that stuff that tree has absorbed, all the bad stuff it's absorbed.
There's a carbon.
Released.
Yeah, that's right.
It gets released back into the. Is that true?
Yeah. Carbon. Trees store carbon. Peat bogs store carbon. Any kind of plant stores carbon. And if you burn them or as decompose it goes back in the atmosphere. But at least they tied it up for a while. And if we plant more trees, more of it's tied up for a while. And it's released really, really slow. It does happen, but there's nothing new. Main thing is we need more trees for all their benefits, including they store carbon. But that's a good point. They're right on that, but it's not a bad thing. It's a natural thing.
Okay. I think it's called cognitive dissonance. I was in shock.
Yeah, cognitive dissonance.
Thank you, sir.
You bet, Ron. I live with cognitive dissonance. That's where you can do this or you can do that. You can't do them both. And no matter which one you do is good and it's bad.
Yeah, Ron, he was kind of concerned a little bit.
Cognitive dissonance. It's called between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
And sometimes, just as you know as a dad, sometimes you just can't win.
Oh, no.
But you got to go with one way or the other.
Yeah, you have to make that choice.
Yep. So anyway, I also brought in a little plant because we have so much rain. Can you see this little fern I've got right here?
Yeah.
It's the kind of fern you see growing up in trees on limbs and stuff and on the trunks of trees. It's called resurrection fern. And this is as big as it gets. It doesn't hurt plants. It grows on bark and grows on trees. And when it's wet, it's green and absorbs stuff, and there's a lot of insects live in it. Hummingbirds find all sorts of little stuff to eat in it. But when it stops raining, it dries up like it's completely dead, like it was just, you can't get, more dead looking. As soon as it rains, it opens right back up. Well, mine have been open all month.
Oh yeah, May has been giving it. It's been happy.
Well, resurrection fern. Matter of fact, when neighbors put logs and stuff out on their curb, if it's got good resurrection fern, I take it home and put it in my garden.
Look at you, Felder.
Yeah, it's cheap entertainment. Cheap entertainment.
I wouldn't have framed it that way, but I understand.
The resurrection fern is open. That means we've got good rain, which is better than being in West Texas. Anyway, it's been kind of a rollicking this morning.
Yeah, we've been rocking and rolling. Thanks to Abram and Johnsy for helping us out this morning.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. And, still haven't gotten by to see your garden. Seems like something always coming up.
It's always happening, man. I think maybe we can do something this weekend, as long as it doesn't rain.
I'm horticulturalist Felder Rushing, my awesome producer, Java Chapman, who is meeting with a farm family for a birthday party. The listener, and all the other stuff we've been talking about. You can see some of y'all at the Daylily Society meeting downtown at the old train station in Hattiesburg. It opens up at 12 o'clock tomorrow on Saturday, and I'll be there. Anyway, get a chance this week. Go to a garden center, take a kid with you, show them how to do what we do best, and that's get dirty.